But there's other 150s, so we want to dip into, and here's a 50. Oh, I forgot about dinosaur racing, folks. Let's go dinosaur racing. This should have been number 1. I'm actually going to change this list to start with dinosaur racing. There we go. So the thing about dinosaur racing is you only have to get to area 50, but you got to do it fast. You have to get there and click to complete the adventure, so you can't AFK. It's all about going fast. So, yeah, I've got to answer my sport ticket. Boom, straight into the champions, straight into Shandy. It's fine. What you want to do is the key here is you want to turn off the text, like the story. So in here, cinematic speed to instant. Back in the day before we had that, you had to manually click through everything, and that was the race. You had to sit here because if you didn't, you wouldn't get to 50 fast enough. Back in my day. But yeah, just so set that and you should be fine. But it doesn't take, as long as you got favor, it doesn't take long to click through this. But you don't even really need to use potions. You can, of course. Because you're only going to 50, it feels like potions feel a bit of a waste. But you have a timer up here. See, 28 minutes, 40 something seconds. You got to beat it in that time period, and click complete, and get out of it. Get in and out real quick. All right. Taylor said thank you. Pass it on to the team, and that's all you need. That's all I'm looking for. Is like, okay, it'll go into the queue to get fixed. Okay, we're good. We're good. That is, despite what somebody said, I thought on the Reddit the other day. That is what support is there for. That is what they do. Pass this along to the team. Thanks for reporting it. Okay. Move on. I'm just mentioning that the Dark Urge's spec Storm Sourcing makes his attack count as melee magic. Yeah. Anything off the top of your head that could double dip in? No, I feel like it's more that, like for Regis, I can choose like a magic spec for him, and like if I want to run, like start off my run with Ashara, or swap between Ashara and the Dark Urge for like armored bosses. Then I don't have to respec Regis, things like that. At that point, Olcoria would then buff the Dark Urge if you had Olcoria. Yeah, I mean there are some there are some situations where he then comes online for some things, but it's not. I don't know that it's an everyday thing. There's some variants where only magic, people with magic base attacks do damage. So he wouldn't at the start, but once you choose that spec, then he does. Right? Stuff like that. You just got to kind of keep your eyes open for something like that. I tend to choose that specialization more often than not. There are situations where you'd use the others, but that's like my default spec. Oh, completionist in me wants to complete all the variants. Sure. I'm trying to do Zerial variants for Karlach, but keep getting bored using the same team each time. That's what speed potions are for. You get through in and out of them real quick. Getting more excitement out of trying to clear all the variants from each campaign. Well, maybe you could do that out of, yeah. With Zera, did 2 in Waterdeep recently, but they were worth it to the Modron chests at the end. It's because they're completed campaigns. Do you expect to see these sort of variants on other campaigns for the Modron chest rewards? I mean, if it's gonna, I can't guarantee it's gonna be a Modron chest reward, but the reason you saw that is because Tomb of Annihilation is a complete campaign. Every adventure in every node has 3 variants. So when you get every adventure done, the storyline, and then they stack 3 variants for every one of those storyline adventures, the very last third variant will be a bigger reward. They've only completed in the 6.5 years that Isle Champions has been out. They've completed Tomb of Annihilation and Baldur's and Waterdeep Dragon Heist. The next completion should be Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus. That should be the next one that gets finished. I don't know when that's slated. It could potentially happen this year. I would expect it to, because usually it's like Tomb was the first one that came out, and then et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and then Tomb finished, and then the next year Waterdeep finished, so we should get Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus to finish this year. And then next year it'll be Icewind Dale, and then the next year, right? Like it should finish in order, but it should take about a year in between them, because that's how they arrived. They arrived a year apart. We get one new campaign a year. Must now be possible to do this adventure with Thalor in one rush. Oh, yeah, that you'd have to, not for newbies, and you wouldn't leave this, but that would be funny. You'd just kill somebody and then rush past the completion area. Yeah, that would be like if you were going for a world record speed run. Like that'd be it. It'd be a Thalora that could just rush past it. You just put Thalora in. She'd kill one thing on area 1 and rush through, but you'd need E51 favor, right? That's funny. But yeah, I don't know if it's always going to be Modron chests. Like, I know Waterdeep, if it had the Modron chests, it also had like a feat for Olcoria. So I don't know. Maybe the culmination of Descent into Avernus is when the Trials rework will happen. I mean, could they try to time that together? Sure. They just timed the dropping of Elminster with the arrival of Gale because it made sense. But I don't know. They had 5 Modron chests and a feat on both of them. Okay. Then that's probably the pattern they're going to keep going with. So in Descent into Avernus, you'd expect 5 Modron chests and a feat for Rhea, right? I felt like Olcoria's feat was like, yo, I already did. You just did everything in Waterdeep. Hey, guess what? You get a feat for using Olcoria in Waterdeep. Wait, but I just did everything. It's like, of course you've got Patron variants, but it felt a little weird. Exactly. Want to see me do dinosaur racing? Want to see me do it again? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, it's taken a lot of time for them to finish the campaigns. A couple years ago, they hadn't finished them, so again, it takes a while to complete the storyline in a campaign, or not the storyline, all of the variants, deliver all the variants, because that's not, and I feel like it's, well, I think supposedly they're going to get the same kind of content delivery schedule, but it's going to be, it's going to be wild now with the new events. So. Because we're up to 30. We're basically clearing 35, and we're about 20 minutes left. So see, it's pretty quick. What slows you down and what used to make people fail is not clicking through the dialogue text fast enough back in the day. But now that there's, and that was before speed champions too. Now that there's speed champions and you can turn the dialogue off, this is super easy. So it's a nice quick run, and you get 300 gems out of it, even though your area goal is only 50, because this should have been an area 150 completion. But because it's special, they're still giving you the gems for it. So it's a great way to quickly pick up 300 gems. Yeah, and it's another variant done. It's fastest variant you're ever going to get. So we'll hop up to 1,500 gems just in just a few more minutes. Just a few more minutes. I think in Elminster it should still be 50, right? They don't change it, right? I think for all the patrons, it's still you just have to beat area 50. So it's the quickest Elminster run, right? Because Elminster normally would be minimum 825. I have to check that now. Somebody go check that. Makes sense in my head, but that doesn't mean it's how the world works. That doesn't mean that's how the world works. Okay, we got a bounty contract. We got another Briv. Just totally skipped him. Fitting. We have thousands of gems? No. What? Said I'm going to be up at 1,500 gems here in a second. That's what we're talking about. In the middle of soloing Tiamat, as per your guide, on day 4, I'm still technically at 75% health. Am I on track? What was your initial DPS contribution, right? Like if you look under, like at just your pure DPS contribution, not counting all the other stuff, 192 might have been a little high. It's close. It's in. I think it's within range because I want to say it's like 187 is kind of what you're shooting for. Should be okay. I think if you're between 180 and 200, you're probably fine. You're definitely on track to defeat Tiamat. I'm just worried you might beat her too early. But it should be okay. Should be okay. I don't know what the upper bounds are. I didn't do that math. But when I go back, when they rework trials, I will do a much deeper rework of that trials guide. The reason I didn't go into all kinds of super deep context in the first trials guide was because that guide literally was the longest guide I'd ever made, and it was maxing out Reddit's character count or character count. So is there a problem beating her too quickly? If you're trying to get the complete all 7 daily quests for Tiamat achievement, you want to slow roll her. Like you can do it on normal. Like you can make it your first run ever. You can just go in and solo it, and you keep your DPS between like 180 and 200. Somewhere I'd say like 187 is usually fine for your day 1 contribution. And then as long as you complete every other day, you kill her, and you get that achievement, and you also get the achievement for having the highest contributing DPS. You get a couple achievements right out the gate that you might not otherwise might never happen. Yeah. So it's an achievement hunter thing. Oh, we finished. Finished. Now you got to click complete. So even though it says passed up here, you have to click complete, because if you went AFK and you came back and it was longer than 30 minutes, it'll say failed. It'll say failed. You don't want that. All right, so we got Dinosaur.